My beloved child, before this night ends, do not close your heart. Do not treat this moment as ordinary. Do not think it is by accident that you are still awake, that your eyes are still open, that your mind has not yet settled, that something within you has paused long enough to listen. This is not merely another night passing over your life. This is a sacred appointment, a divine interruption, a quiet place where I have drawn near to speak what your soul has needed but your heart has been afraid to hear. You are still breathing because I have kept you. You are still here because I have not finished speaking over you. The day may have been long, your strength may feel thin, your thoughts may be scattered, and yet even now, in this late hour, I am calling your name. Not loudly to overwhelm you, not harshly to condemn you, but tenderly. As a father calls the child he has never stopped watching. I have seen the moments you smiled while carrying questions. I have seen the wounds you covered because explaining them felt too exhausting. I have seen the silent fears that visit you when the room becomes quiet and there is nothing left to distract you from what is still unresolved inside. Listen to me now. I do not come to frighten you, but to awaken you. I do not come to disturb your rest, but to keep sleep from sealing another day of delay over your spirit. There are things you have postponed because you were tired. There are truths you have avoided because facing them felt too painful. There are doors you called rejection, silences you called abandonment, and losses you called proof that you were unwanted. But before tonight ends, I am going to place light on what you have misunderstood. I am going to name what you have not been able to name. I am going to show you that the ache you carried was not the whole story. My beloved child, this message found you for a reason. If you believe that, pause even now and like this video as an act of agreement that this moment is not random. Subscribe for more late-night words of faith, because I am still speaking to hearts that are weary, delayed, and ready to awaken. And stay until the end, because the truth I am about to reveal is not general, it is personal. It reaches into the places you thought were forgotten, and before you sleep, I want your heart prepared to receive what mercy has been trying to tell you. My beloved child, the truth hidden inside your survival is deeper than you have allowed yourself to believe. You did not make it through because the road was gentle. You did not endure because the burden was light. You did not remain standing because every season treated you kindly. You are here because I kept you. You are breathing tonight because my hand was present in places where your eyes saw no hand, because my mercy moved in hours when your mind could not trace my movement, because my protection stood between you and what you did not even know was close. There were moments you called ordinary that were not ordinary at all. There were mornings when you opened your eyes and thought nothing had happened, but through the night I had held back what could have reached you. There were delays you resented, plans that changed without explanation, doors that closed before you were ready to release them, conversations that ended, paths that were blocked, relationships that faded, opportunities that slipped away. And you wondered why life felt so interrupted. But listen to me now. You saw nothing happen, and so you thought nothing was done. But the very nothing you saw was my protection. The absence of disaster was not emptiness. The quietness of the day was not proof that I was inactive. The uneventful morning was sometimes the evidence that I had already fought battles before you ever woke up. You thought you were merely late, but I was slowing you down. You thought you were being denied, but I was redirecting you. You thought you were losing access, but I was closing an entrance that would have cost you more than you understood. You thought your hesitation was weakness, but many times it was my restraint resting on your spirit. You could not explain why you stopped, why you waited, why you could not force yourself to continue, why peace left one path and settled faintly over another. My beloved child, I was there. I was in the pause. I was in the interruption. I was in the strange discomfort you could not name. I was in the quiet warning beneath your excitement. I was in the delay that frustrated you because I saw further than you could see. Do not despise the hidden ways I have preserved you. True protection is not always loud. It does not always arrive with visible rescue, dramatic signs, or immediate explanations. Sometimes my protection looks like silence. Sometimes it looks like waiting. Sometimes it looks like being overlooked by people whose acceptance you wanted. Sometimes it looks like a closed door that wounded your pride but guarded your soul. Sometimes it looks like being kept from a place where you would have been celebrated for a moment and diminished for a season. You called it rejection because you felt the ache of not being chosen. but I saw what would have happened if you had been chosen by the wrong hands, the wrong room, the wrong voice, the wrong timing. I have been present in the loneliness you thought proved my absence. I have been near in the seasons when your prayers felt like they rose into a silent sky. I have watched over you in the waiting, in the pauses, in the empty spaces, in the nights when you turned from side to side and wondered if anyone understood how tired your heart had become. I did not abandon you there. I did not turn my face away. I did not forget the child I formed, called, and carried. Even when you did not feel held, you were held. Even when you did not feel guided, you were guided. Even when you believed you were surviving by fragments of your own strength, I was underneath you, keeping what would have broken you from having the final word. And now I want you to understand why this matters before the night ends. My protection was never only about keeping you alive. It was about preserving you for what you have not yet become. I was guarding more than your breath. I was guarding your calling, your tenderness, your faith, your ability to love, your capacity to hear me again. I was preserving the part of you that pain tried to bury, the part of you disappointment tried to harden, the part of you rejection tried to rename. Your survival is not luck. It is the quiet signature of my faithfulness. And if I kept you through what you did not understand, then listen closely, because I am not finished revealing why I kept you. But my beloved child, before I speak the full truth you have been waiting to hear, I must lovingly touch the places where you have stopped being honest with yourself. I do not expose these things to shame you. I do not uncover them to accuse you. I do not place light on your hidden weariness because I delight in your discomfort. I reveal because I love you. I reveal because what remains unnamed often remains unhealed. I reveal because you have lived too long in a half-awake state, calling numbness peace simply because pain stopped shouting for a little while. You called emptiness peace because you were tired. You called silence maturity because you no longer wanted to hope and be disappointed again. You called fear wisdom because it kept you from risking your heart. You called delay discernment because postponing obedience felt safer than stepping forward while still uncertain. But listen to me now. Peace is not the absence of feeling when your heart has shut down. Maturity is not the drying up of expectation. Wisdom is not fear wearing careful language. Discernment is not refusing to move when I have already whispered, when I have already opened a narrow path, when I have already pressed gently on your spirit and asked you to trust me. There are places in you that learned to survive by becoming quiet. You stopped asking certain prayers because the answers might require surrender. You avoided sitting with me too long because my presence began to touch what you were trying to keep buried. You kept yourself busy because stillness made grief rise to the surface. You filled the room with noise, responsibilities, scrolling, planning, helping others, solving what could be solved, because if you slowed down, you feared you would have to feel what disappointment had left behind. My child, I saw all of it. I saw the way you kept functioning while your spirit was thirsty. I saw the way you kept showing up while your inner life became dry. I saw the way you told yourself you were fine, because admitting weariness felt like opening a door you could not control. Do not mistake endurance for wholeness. Do not mistake emotional distance for healing. Do not mistake the ability to continue for the fullness of life I promised you. Yes, I sustained you. Yes, I kept you. Yes, I gave you strength for days you did not know how to face. But I did not keep you alive so you could become a shell that moves through life without expectation, without tenderness, without prayer, without wonder. I did not preserve you so you could lower every desire until nothing could disappoint you anymore. That is not peace. That is protection built by pain, and now I am calling you out from behind it. You accepted less because disappointment trained you to expect less. You stopped believing for restoration because waiting felt too costly. You stopped asking for joy because survival seemed more realistic. You stopped imagining a future that felt alive because the last closed door seemed to teach you that desire was dangerous. But my beloved child, disappointment is not your teacher. Fear is not your counselor. Rejection is not your prophet. I am your father, and I know the difference between a surrendered heart and a heart that has simply grown too tired to reach. This is why the truth I want to speak tonight must pass through the places where you have hidden from your own longing. I cannot heal what you keep calling normal. I cannot awaken what you keep defending as peace. I cannot lead you into the next step while you continue to bless the chains that have made you still. Not because my power is limited, but because love does not force truth past a heart that refuses to open. So I am coming gently, but I am coming clearly. I am placing my finger on the numb place, the avoided prayer, the postponed obedience, the grief beneath the busyness, the expectation you buried because hope felt unsafe. Pause, my beloved child, let this light reach you. Do not turn away simply because the truth feels tender. The ache you feel is not condemnation. It is evidence that the part of you I preserved is still alive. The hunger is still there. The longing is still there. The child who once believed I could do more than manage your survival is still there. And before tonight ends, I am not only going to comfort you in what happened, I am going to awaken you from the false peace you accepted, so you can receive the truth that has been waiting beneath your weariness. And this is why this truth could not wait until tomorrow, my beloved child. Not because I am anxious, not because my power fades with the passing of the night, not because I am limited by the hour on the clock or threatened by what morning may bring. I speak with urgency because mercy sees what delay does when it is left unchallenged. I speak now because I know how easily one postponed moment becomes a pattern, how one ignored whisper becomes a quieter conscience, how one more night of saying later can become another chain around a heart I am calling free. Listen to me now. Delayed obedience is not neutral. It does not simply wait in the same condition until you are ready to return to it. Delay works quietly. It dulls spiritual hearing. It teaches the soul to live around conviction instead of responding to it. It makes compromise feel less dangerous because you have learned how to sit near truth without surrendering to it. At first, you feel the tug deeply. You know I am speaking. You know what must be released, what must be confessed, what must be forgiven, what must be obeyed. But if you keep stepping over that inner knowing, if you keep covering it with explanations, if you keep promising me a later that never becomes now, the voice you once trembled under begins to sound distant, and what once grieved you begins to feel normal. I do not say this to frighten you, but to awaken you. I do not warn you because I am angry with your weakness. I warn you because I love the tenderness that still remains in you, and I do not want it buried under another layer of postponement. There is a kind of sleep that does not happen to the body, but to the spirit. A person can keep working, keep smiling, keep answering messages, keep fulfilling duties, and still be slowly drifting from the place where my voice is clear. That is why I interrupt you tonight. That is why I press gently but firmly on your heart, not to rush you into panic, but to rescue you from the slow comfort of almost obeying. You know the trance of postponement. Later will do. I will pray when I feel ready. I will obey when the fear leaves. I will forgive when the pain no longer rises. I will surrender when I understand every outcome. I will take the step when the path feels safer. I will listen when life becomes quieter. My beloved child, do you see how delay dresses itself in reasonable language? It does not always sound rebellious. Sometimes it sounds careful. Sometimes it sounds wise. Sometimes it sounds like self-protection. But when I have spoken, when I have placed light on the next step, when I have invited your heart to respond, postponement can become disobedience wearing soft clothing. Tonight can become a turning point. This very hour can become the place where you stop circling the same inward mountain, where you stop negotiating with fear, where you stopped calling hesitation humility, where you finally said, Father, I hear you, and I will not make you wait outside the door of my own heart again. Or this night can become another memory of almost surrendering. Another moment when truth came close. Tears rose, conviction touched you, your spirit stirred. And yet, you slept with the same chain you were invited to lay down. I am not placing this before you to condemn you. I am showing you the weight of this moment because love tells the truth before the heart hardens further. Do not wait for fear to leave before you obey. Obedience is often the door through which fear loses its authority. Do not wait until you feel strong before you respond. Response is how strength begins to return. Do not wait until every question is answered before you trust me. Trust is not proven when everything is visible. Trust is proven when my voice becomes enough for the next step. The enemy would love for you to confuse preparation with postponement, reflection with avoidance, caution with unbelief. But I know the difference, and deep within you, so do you. Open your heart now, because what I am about to show you is not merely about what happened to you. It is not only about the closed door, the lost relationship, the unanswered invitation, the silence, the disappointment, or the place where you felt unseen. The truth I have held until this moment reaches deeper than the event. It reaches beneath the wound. It reaches beneath the story you have repeated to yourself. It concerns who you are, who you were before pain spoke over you, and who I have been preserving all along. My beloved child, the truth is this. You were never rejected. You were being preserved. What you called rejection was often my hand standing between you and a future that would have drained the life out of what I placed inside you. What you called being overlooked was often me, hiding you from eyes that would have misused your tenderness. What you called abandonment was often separation from what would have slowly taught you to abandon yourself. Listen to me now, because this truth must enter deeper than your memory. I did not discard you. I separated you from what would have broken what I placed inside you. You thought the closed door was proof that you were not enough. You thought the silence meant you were unwanted. You thought the distance meant you were easy to leave. You thought the betrayal meant something about your value had been exposed. But my beloved child, people can mishandle what I treasure. Rooms can fail to recognize what I have anointed. Opportunities can glitter and still be traps. Affection can feel like acceptance and still carry chains. I did not allow every door to open, because every open door was not a door into life. Some doors would have led you into a version of yourself you would not have recognized. Some rooms would have applauded your gift while starving your soul. Some relationships would have kept your heart constantly proving, constantly shrinking, constantly apologizing for the very light I placed within you. Do not measure my love by what I did not allow you to keep. Do not measure your worth by who could not stay. Do not measure your calling by the invitation that never came, the message that was never answered, the seat that was not offered, the name that was not chosen, the opportunity that passed over you. There are things you wanted because you could only see the beginning, but I saw the ending. You saw the promise of belonging, but I saw the cost of attachment. You saw comfort, but I saw captivity. You saw a chance to be chosen, but I saw the way that place would have trained you to forget that I had already chosen you. I know it hurt. I do not speak lightly over pain that cost you tears. I saw the nights when you asked what was wrong with you. I saw the quiet comparison that entered your heart when others seemed to move forward while you stood still. I saw the way disappointment tried to turn your face inward until you began searching yourself for defects I never named. You wondered if you were too much, not enough, too late, too damaged, too difficult to love, too easy to forget. But I am your father, and I tell you now, the wound interpreted the event wrongly. The wound gave a report that heaven did not authorize. The closed door did not mean unwanted. The delay did not mean disqualified. The separation did not mean unloved. Many times it meant guarded. My beloved child, I have guarded you more fiercely than you know. I guarded your softness when hardness would have seemed easier. I guarded your faith when cynicism tried to sound intelligent. I guarded your calling when compromise tried to dress itself like opportunity. I guarded your future when your present desire begged me to say yes. I guarded the part of you that still believes, still hopes, still trembles at my voice, still wants to obey even after seasons of weariness. If I had allowed everything you pleaded for, some desires would have attached you to patterns that buried your discernment. Some approvals would have become addictions. Some relationships would have become altars where you sacrificed your peace, your obedience, your identity, and your ability to hear me clearly. You were not preserved because you were weak. You were preserved because you are entrusted. There is a difference. I do not preserve what has no purpose. I do not guard what I have forgotten. I do not separate what I have abandoned. I separate what I am preparing. I hide what I am strengthening. I delay what I am maturing. I withhold what would destroy the vessel before the appointed time. What you called waiting was not me ignoring you. It was me forming you beneath the surface, teaching your roots to go deeper than applause, deeper than approval, deeper than temporary acceptance, deeper than the fragile comfort of being wanted by people who could not carry the weight of who I called you to become. You are loved, chosen, guarded, and entrusted. Let those words stand where the old verdict stood. Let them rise against the memory that told you you were rejected. Let them speak over the empty chair, the unanswered call, the broken promise, the lost place, the lonely season, the year that seemed to take more than it gave. You are not the one heaven forgot. You are not the one I left behind. You are not the one whose future was canceled by someone else's inability to see your worth. I was there in the removal. I was there in the silence. I was there in the ache. I was there when you thought nothing was left but loss. And even then, I was preserving what pain could not be allowed to own. Receive this now before the night ends. The thing that left did not take your identity with it. The person who walked away did not carry your value out the door. The opportunity that closed did not close my purpose over you. The season that delayed you did not disqualify you. I have been keeping you for more than survival. I have been preserving the name I spoke over you before rejection ever tried to speak louder. You belong to me. You are mine. And what I preserve, I also prepare. What I guard, I also guide. What I separate, I also restore according to my wisdom, my timing, and my faithful love. My beloved child, the wound that tried to rename you spoke loudly, but it never had authority. It spoke through the person who left. It spoke through the failure that embarrassed you. It spoke through the comparison that made you feel late. It spoke through criticism that entered deeper than it should have. It spoke through repeated disappointment until you began to wonder if the pattern itself was proof that something was wrong with you. But listen to me now. A wound can explain where pain entered, but it cannot define who you are. A wound can mark a season, but it cannot write your name in eternity. You began asking questions that were deeper than the event itself. Why was I not chosen? Why was I so easy to leave? Why does it seem to happen for others and not for me? Why do I keep hoping and ending in the same ache? Beneath those questions was a deeper fear. The fear that pain had revealed your identity instead of simply exposing where you needed healing. You thought the wound was telling the truth because it felt so convincing. You thought the ache was evidence. You thought the silence was a verdict. You thought the disappointment was a mirror. But, my beloved child, pain is a poor prophet. Rejection is a distorted mirror. Failure is not a judge seated over your destiny. Failure tried to call you disqualified. Abandonment tried to call you unwanted. Comparison tried to call you behind. Criticism tried to call you too much, too weak, too sensitive, too ordinary, too difficult to love. Repeated disappointment tried to call you foolish for believing again. And because those names came during tender moments, because they arrived when your strength was low and your heart was exposed, you began to wear them quietly. You did not always speak them aloud, but you carried them in the way you hesitated, in the way you expected less, in the way you apologized for needing care, in the way you shrank before rooms that had never been given authority to measure you. But before you were wounded, I knew you. Before anyone misunderstood you, I called you by name. Before the first rejection touched your memory, my love had already spoken over your life. Before criticism tried to shape your self-image, my hand had already formed you with intention. You did not begin with pain. You began in my knowledge. You did not begin with abandonment. You began in my heart. You did not begin with failure. You began with purpose. The oldest truth about you is not what happened to you. The oldest truth about you is what I spoke when I called you mine. Do not agree with a name I never gave you. Do not build a life around a sentence heaven never signed. Do not let a temporary wound become a permanent identity. You are not unwanted. You are not behind. You are not too damaged. You are not the mistake others made when they failed to recognize what I placed inside you. You are loved, chosen, guarded, and entrusted. You are still capable of hearing me. You are still capable of being restored. You are still capable of walking in tenderness without being ruled by fear. You are not what broke your heart. You are not what left. You are not what failed. You are my beloved child. And now, I am not only changing your situation, I am restoring the self you lost while surviving. I am reaching beneath the habits you formed to stay safe. I am touching the places where you learned to hide your hope, silence your desire, and lower your expectations so disappointment could not find you again. I am calling back the tenderness you buried. I am calling back the courage you surrendered. I am calling back the voice that became quiet because criticism made you doubt whether you had anything worth saying. I am not asking you to pretend the wound never happened. I am telling you it does not get the final word. Let me rename the places pain mislabeled. Let me speak beloved over the place that felt abandoned. Let me speak chosen over the place that felt overlooked. Let me speak entrusted over the place that felt delayed. Let me speak whole over the place that felt permanently fractured. The wound spoke loudly, yes, but my voice was before it, above it, and after it. And before this night ends, I want you to stop answering to a name I never gave you. You are mine. You are preserved. You are still becoming. And what I called beloved, no wound has the authority to rename. My beloved child, understand this also. The battle around you has never been random. The enemy fears the version of you that finally believes what I have spoken. He fears the heart that stops agreeing with rejection. He fears the child who rises from the old name and begins to walk as beloved, chosen, guarded, and entrusted. He fears the moment when truth is no longer only heard, but received. No longer only admired, but obeyed. No longer only touching your emotions, but governing your steps. I do not tell you this to magnify darkness. I do not uncover his strategy to make you anxious. I am not calling your attention to the enemy so that fear can become your focus. I am showing you what has been working against your awakening so you will stop mistaking warfare for weakness. The attack has not always come loudly. It has not always come through obvious destruction or dramatic opposition. Often it came through distraction when you were about to pray. It came through exhaustion when you were close to obeying. It came through shame when you were ready to come near. It came through overthinking when I had already given you enough light for the next step. It came through comparison, making you look at someone else's path until you forgot the grace on your own. It came through reasonable sounding delay, whispering, not now, not yet, wait until you are stronger, wait until you are certain, wait until there is no risk. Listen to me now. The enemy attacks identity because awakened identity produces obedience. When you know you are mine, you stop begging for permission from places that never had authority over you. When you know you are loved, courage begins to rise where fear once ruled. When you know you are chosen, prayer returns with tenderness and confidence. When you know you are guarded, you can forgive without feeling unprotected. When you know you are entrusted, endurance stops feeling like punishment and begins to feel like training. This is why the battle has pressed so deeply against your sense of self. If he can keep you uncertain about who you are, he can keep you hesitant about what I have asked you to do. He used old pain to make you suspicious of blessing. He reminded you of what failed so you would distrust what I was opening. He brought back the memory of abandonment so surrender would feel dangerous. He rehearsed the disappointment until my invitation sounded like another place where your heart might be exposed and hurt again. He took what wounded you and tried to turn it into a filter over my voice, so that when I called, you heard risk instead of love, loss instead of guidance, demand instead of invitation. But, my beloved child, my voice does not come to exploit your tenderness. My voice comes to heal it. My instruction is not a trap. My timing is not cruelty. My call is not rejection wearing a new form. I am your Father, and I do not lead you toward destruction. Do not be surprised that you felt resistance when you began to believe again. Do not be surprised that weariness increased when your spirit started waking up. Do not be surprised that doubts became louder when truth came close. The enemy only fights what carries value. He does not labor so intensely against what poses no threat. Your awakened faith carries value. Your obedience carries value. Your restored tenderness carries value. Your yes carries value. The prayer you are about to pray, the forgiveness you are about to release, the step you are about to take, the lie you are about to renounce, the door you are about to close, the word you are about to obey, all of it matters more than you have understood. So stand still for a moment and discern rightly. Everything that resists your healing is not proof that healing is impossible. Everything that rises against your obedience is not proof that obedience is wrong. Everything that makes you tired at the threshold is not a sign to turn back. Sometimes resistance gathers at the edge of freedom because captivity knows it is losing its hold. Sometimes confusion increases right before clarity settles. Sometimes shame speaks loudly right before mercy teaches you how to answer. Do not let the noise rename the moment. Do not let the pressure make you retreat from truth. Your struggle is not new. You are not the first child I have called at night. You are not the first heart to stand between delay and obedience. You are not the first one to hear truth and feel the pull of fear, memory, comfort, and surrender all at once. Scripture has always shown my people standing at the edge of urgent truth, hearing my warning, my mercy, my instruction, and my invitation before the next day begins. Look now, and let their stories become mirrors, because what I have spoken to hearts before, I am using tonight to confirm what I am speaking to you. Look at Lot, my beloved child, not as a distant figure, but as a mirror. Mercy came to him before destruction fell. Warning came before the fire. My hand reached before the city collapsed under the weight of its own corruption. Yet even when the moment was urgent, even when escape was mercy, even when delay was dangerous, his heart hesitated. Do you see it? The hesitation did not mean the warning was unclear. It revealed that part of him was still attached to what I was trying to remove him from. He was being pulled out, but something inside still looked back toward the place that had become familiar. This is why I am speaking to you tonight. Not because I delight in urgency, but because mercy often sounds urgent when danger has been hidden by familiarity. There are places you call home because you have lived there long, but they are not safe for your soul. There are patterns you call normal because you have adjusted to them, but they are draining your obedience. There are attachments you defend because they are familiar, but I am trying to lead you out before they consume what remains tender in you. When I say move, I am not rejecting what you wanted. I am preserving what I called you to become. When I say leave, I am not taking life from you. I am pulling you from what would slowly turn your heart into salt, fixed in the direction of what I already delivered you from. And look at Saul, my beloved child. Let him also become a mirror, because he teaches what happens when a heart obeys enough to look religious, but not enough to be surrendered. He did much of what was commanded, but preserved what his flesh preferred. He kept what seemed useful, what seemed impressive, what seemed reasonable to him. He could explain it. He could spiritualize it. He could make disobedience sound like devotion. But as it is written in 1 Samuel 15:22, to obey is better than sacrifice. I do not ask for the appearance of obedience while the hidden preference remains enthroned. I do not ask you to give me most of your yes while protecting the one thing fear still wants to control. Listen to me now. Partial obedience can delay the next step just as surely as open refusal. Doing most of what I said while preserving what your flesh prefers will keep you circling the same place, wondering why movement has not become freedom. You cannot bargain with truth and call it surrender. You cannot keep the thing I named and then ask why peace still feels unstable. I am not harsh with you. I am precise because I love you. I am putting my finger on the place where obedience has been edited, softened, delayed, explained, or reduced. I am not asking for performance. I am asking for your whole heart. Now look at Nineveh. A city heard the word and the city responded. They did not wait until repentance felt convenient. They did not schedule obedience for a safer season. They did not say, let us think about this after we finish what we are building. The word came, and the heart of the city trembled. They turned, they humbled themselves. They changed direction, while mercy was still calling. This is what I want you to understand before tonight ends. When truth arrives, the response matters. Not tomorrow when emotion has cooled, not later when distraction has returned, not after you have explained away the conviction. Today, if you hear my voice, do not harden your heart, as Hebrews 3:15 declares. There is mercy in the word today. There is rescue in the word now. There is protection in the moment when my voice is still clear and your heart is still tender. Do not despise the tenderness you feel. Do not rush past the conviction rising within you. Do not call this only emotion. Sometimes tears are the soul admitting what pride has delayed. Sometimes trembling is not fear, it is awakening. Sometimes the heaviness you feel is the weight of a door you have been holding closed while I have been asking to enter. Nineveh changed because it responded when the word came. And tonight, I am not asking you to understand everything. I am asking you to respond while your heart is still able to hear. And remember Elijah and the widow. The instruction did not make sense to natural sight. Provision did not appear first in abundance and then require obedience. Obedience moved before visible abundance. The widow had little, almost nothing, and yet the word asked for trust before the proof was in her hands. This is where many hearts stop. They say, I will obey when I see enough. I will give when I feel secure. I will release when I know what comes next. I will step when the jar is full. But my way often trains faith in the space between command and evidence. The oil flowed as obedience continued. The provision met the movement. The next measure appeared where trust took the next step. My beloved child, this is not only their story, this is your mirror. Lot shows you that mercy may call you out before you feel ready to leave. Saul warns you that almost obedience can still preserve the chain. Nineveh shows you that a heart can change when it responds quickly to my word. Elijah and the widow show you that provision can meet you on the other side of illogical obedience. And through all of it, I am confirming what I have been saying to you tonight. I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. I will guide you with my eye, as Psalm 32:8 declares. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it, as John 1:5 declares. But when light comes, you must not cover your eyes and call the darkness peace. So listen now, the scriptures are not standing far away from you. They are surrounding this moment with witness. They are saying, respond. They are saying, do not look back. They are saying, do not preserve what I told you to release. They are saying, humble your heart while mercy is near. They are saying, pour from the little you have, and watch me prove that little is not the end when it is placed in my hands. Before the next day begins, let your heart answer. Before sleep takes your body, let obedience awaken your spirit. Before another morning finds you carrying the same delayed yes, choose the one concrete step I am placing before you now. My beloved child, now do not let this truth remain only a feeling. Do not let it pass through your ears, stir your emotions, and then fall to the ground without obedience. Truth becomes transformation when your heart answers. I am not asking you tonight for a dramatic display. I am not asking you to repair your whole life before you sleep. I am not asking you to understand every season, solve every question, or become strong in one moment. I am asking for one concrete step of obedience, one honest yes, one movement that proves you heard me. Pause now, turn down the noise, put aside the screen if you must. Let the room become quiet around you, but more than that, let the arguments become quiet within you. Place your heart in my hands. Do not listen as one who is only considering. Listen as one who is already beginning to surrender. There is a difference between hearing with curiosity and hearing with a decision forming. Tonight, I am calling you to hear with the part of you that is ready to obey. For some of you, the step is to pray honestly for the first time in a long time. Not polished words, not religious sentences, not the version of prayer you think sounds acceptable, just truth. Tell me where it hurt. Tell me where you felt rejected. Tell me what you have been afraid to admit. For some of you, the step is forgiveness, not because what happened was small, but because you have carried the chain long enough. You may not be ready for a conversation, but tonight you can begin in your heart. You can say, Lord, I release this person into your hands, and I refuse to let bitterness keep naming me. For some of you, the step is to delete a compromising connection. You already know the door. You already know the message thread. You already know the voice that pulls you backward after I have called you forward. Do not ask me for clarity where I have already given conviction. For some of you, the step is to send the humble message, to apologize without defending yourself, to make peace where pride has delayed healing. For some of you, the step is to reopen Scripture, to return to the place where my voice became distant because disappointment made you close the page. For some of you, the step is to surrender the decision you have been trying to control. For some of you, the step is simply to stop delaying the instruction you already know. Do not make obedience vague tonight. Vague surrender often becomes another hiding place. Name the step, write it down if you must, speak it before me. Say, Father, this is the thing I will do before I sleep, or this is the thing I will begin tonight. Not next month, not when fear leaves, not when every outcome is guaranteed. Tonight, while your heart is tender, while my voice is clear, while mercy is near. And before we pray, let your faith speak publicly. If this truth has reached you, comment these words. Lord, I receive your truth tonight. Let it be more than a comment. Let it be a declaration that rejection will no longer define you, delay will no longer rule you, and fear will no longer hold the place that obedience belongs to. Write it as a witness over this moment. Write it as your agreement with heaven. And if you need prayer, leave your request in the comments. Do not carry this alone in silence. Let this community stand with you for healing, protection, obedience, and breakthrough. There are hearts here who will pray with you. There are people here believing with you that what God preserved, He will also restore. My beloved child, respond now. One concrete step, one surrendered yes. One act of obedience before sleep dulls what grace has awakened tonight. Now pray with me slowly, my beloved child. Do not rush these words. Do not speak them as something empty. Let your heart come forward. Let the hidden places answer. Let the part of you that has been tired of pretending finally rest before me. Say this from the place where truth has found you tonight. Lord, I bow my heart before you, and I stop running from the truth you are speaking tonight. I stop hiding behind delay. I stop calling numbness peace. I stop calling fear wisdom. I stop calling emptiness maturity. I stop calling survival the same thing as freedom. I come before you honestly, not with a perfected heart, but with a surrendered one. I come tired of carrying names you never gave me. I come tired of rehearsing rejection as if it were my identity. I come tired of defending the very chains you are trying to break. Father, I confess that there were places where I accepted a false peace because I was too weary to keep believing for true healing. I confess that I learned to be quiet where I should have cried out to you. I confess that I settled for distance because closeness felt risky. I confess that I delayed obedience and dressed it in reasonable words. I said later when you were saying now. I said not yet when you were calling me forward. I said, I need more proof, when you had already given me enough light for the next step. Forgive me for the moments when I treated your voice as something optional. Forgive me for the places where fear became louder than trust. Lord, I bring you my shame. I bring you the memories that still sting when I am alone. I bring you the wound that tried to rename me. I bring you the rejection that made me question my worth, the abandonment that made me expect less, the disappointment that made me suspicious of hope, and the failure that made me afraid to try again. I place it all before you. I do not deny what hurt me, but I deny its authority to define me. I do not pretend it did not happen, but I refuse to let it speak louder than your love. Speak over me again, Father. Restore the name you gave me before pain touched my story. Teach my heart to receive what my mind has struggled to believe. I am loved. I am chosen. I am protected. I am preserved. I am forgiven. I am awakened. I am entrusted with purpose. I am not the door that closed. I am not the person who left. I am not the season that broke my heart. I am not the accusation that followed me. I am not the delay. I am not the shame. I belong to you, and what belongs to you cannot be disqualified by what wounded it. Tonight, Lord, wash my thoughts. Touch the places where lies attached themselves to past pain. Pull out the words that entered me in weakness. Remove the agreements I made with fear. Break the silent vows I formed after disappointment. The vows that said I would never hope again, never trust again, never open my heart again, never step forward unless every outcome was safe. I renounce those vows before you. I choose your truth over my protection mechanisms. I choose obedience over hiding. I choose surrender over control. Protect me through this night. Guard my mind while I sleep. Let no torment, no fear, no accusation, and no confusion take root in me while my body rests. Let your peace stand watch over my heart. Let your presence fill the room where I am. Let the darkness not have permission to replay what you are healing. Let my sleep become a place of restoration, not escape. Let my dreams be covered. Let my breathing be steady. Let my heart remember that I am kept. And when morning comes, Father, give me clarity. Do not let me wake and explain away what you awakened tonight. Do not let distraction steal the conviction that mercy has placed in me. Show me the next step plainly. Give me courage to obey it. If I need to make the call, give me humility. If I need to close the door, give me strength. If I need to forgive, give me grace. If I need to return to prayer, draw me near. If I need to begin again, remind me that beginning with you is never shameful. Lord, I receive the truth that what felt like rejection was often preservation. I receive the truth that you were guarding what I did not know how to guard. I receive the truth that you did not abandon me when things were withheld, delayed, interrupted, or removed. I receive the truth that your hand was present even when your explanation was not. I receive the truth that I am not rejected. I am preserved by God. So tonight, I surrender my old name. I surrender unwanted. I surrender forgotten. I surrender too late. I surrender too broken. I surrender not enough. I surrender all the words that pain taught me to answer to. I will not carry the old name into a new day. I will not sleep under a lie and call it humility. I will not wake tomorrow as a prisoner of what you have exposed tonight. I belong to you. I am held by you. I am guided by you. I am restored by you. Let this prayer become more than words. Let it become a turning. Let it become a door closing behind me and a step opening before me. Let my obedience begin where my excuses end. Let my heart remain tender, my spirit awake, and my yes sincere. I place myself in your hands, Father, and I trust you with what comes next. I receive your mercy. I receive your correction. I receive your healing. I receive my identity again. And I offer this prayer in the holy name of Jesus Christ. Amen. My beloved child, do not let this truth end with the video. Do not let these words fade when the screen goes dark. Do not let sleep come over your body while your heart quietly returns to the same delay, the same fear, the same old name. Tonight will not be remembered in heaven as another night when you almost responded. Tonight will not be marked as another moment when conviction came near and was postponed. Let this be the night you received truth and returned to obedience. Let this be the night your heart stopped agreeing with rejection and began agreeing with me. You were not rejected. You were not forgotten. You were not abandoned in the place where the door closed, the person left, the plan changed, or the answer seemed delayed. You were preserved. You were protected. You were carried through what you did not understand. I was guarding your identity when you thought life was only denying you. I was protecting your future when you thought people were simply overlooking you. I was calling you forward even when the path behind you felt like loss. What wounded you tried to rename you, but my voice has spoken louder tonight. You are mine. You are beloved. You are preserved by God, and now you must obey. So carry this truth with you beyond this moment. Carry it into your room. Carry it into your sleep. Carry it into the morning. Carry it into the conversation you have been avoiding, the decision you have been delaying, the surrender you have been resisting, and the prayer you have been needing to return to. Let your life say what your heart has heard tonight. I am preserved by God, and I will obey. If you want to keep receiving messages that strengthen your faith before sleep, subscribe and turn on notifications, so your heart can continue to be reminded of truth when the night grows quiet. Like this video so this message can reach another weary heart tonight, another person sitting in silence, wondering if what happened to them means they were rejected. And share it with someone who needs to know that God has not cast them away, that what looked like loss may have been mercy, and that preservation is still part of their story. And before you go, comment these words: I am preserved by God. Write them if you receive this truth for your life tonight. Let it be your declaration. Let it be your agreement. Let it be the sentence that follows you into rest. Now may your night be covered. May your sleep be peaceful. May your heart be steady. May your family be guarded. May your mind be quiet under my care. And may your next step of obedience be clear, gentle, and firm before you. Rest now, my beloved child. You are not rejected. You are preserved, and I am leading you forward.